Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real. The world is not interested in your excuses. It does not care how exhausted you feel, how many times someone has betrayed your trust, or how often you have been overlooked, underestimated, or cast aside. Life does not hand out compassion freely. But here is the reality. You were never created to blend into the crowd. You were designed to rise above it. And if you want to survive in this world, if you want to thrive in it, you must learn how to be smarter than the world around you. You must learn how to navigate it with wisdom and precision. I am not talking about manipulation, and I am not talking about deceit or cruelty. I am talking about moving with strategy, thinking with clarity, and living with awareness. I am talking about the kind of intelligence that is carved out of pain. The wisdom that grows from your scars, from the nights you had no one but yourself to lean on, and the days when the only things that kept you going were hope and a backbone forged from steel. You want to command your space. You want to enter a room and know that no one can take advantage of you. Then pay attention, because I am about to give you 5 rules that can change the course of your life. 5 rules that draw the line between those who are forgotten and those who are remembered forever. And if you truly commit to living by them, you will never again be anyone's fool. Rule number 1: learn to control your emotions before they take control of you. Let me ask you something that cuts deep. How many times have you lost something valuable? Not because of what someone else did, but because of the way you reacted. Maybe it was an opportunity, a meaningful relationship, your sense of dignity or self-respect. Be brutally honest with yourself. Emotions are powerful forces, but if left unmanaged, they can become toxic. A man who cannot control his anger, his fear, or his insecurity is not in control of his life. He becomes a puppet, and the world pulls his strings. People see his weak points, and they push them for sport. And before he realizes it, he is dancing to a rhythm that was never his. But the individual who cultivates discipline over his emotions, who learns to feel deeply but remain grounded, that person is dangerous in all the right ways. That is a person who has walked through chaos and still carries himself as though the universe bends in his favor. You have to reach a point where you allow yourself to feel everything, but respond only when the moment is right and always on your terms. Control does not mean being cold or numb. It means being wise. It means not letting someone else's ignorance or disrespect drag you into confusion or disorder. You do not need to respond to every insult that comes your way. You are not obligated to address every voice that tries to provoke you. You are the lion, and lions do not flinch when small dogs bark. You do not need to defend your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to allow someone else's bitterness to infect your mindset. When someone disrespects you, take a moment to observe. Take your time to process. Respond only if and when it serves your peace. And sometimes the best response is no response at all. Because the moment you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you give your power away. That is how the average live. But you were never meant for average. You were not born to be predictable. You were meant to rise, to lead, to take control without ever losing your composure. Have you ever noticed how the most dangerous individuals in any space are usually the quietest ones? That is not a coincidence. Stillness is a weapon. Composure is strength. While everyone else is acting on impulse, throwing punches in the dark, you remain steady. You pay attention. You analyze. And when the moment calls for it, you strike with accuracy. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the one with real power. It is the person sitting silently, watching, listening, reading the energy in the room, who holds the most control. That is the person who should never be underestimated. Be that person. Never let the world see what unsettles you. Never allow your face to reveal your thoughts or your next move. This is how you stay one step ahead of manipulators, critics, and those who pretend to be allies while plotting against you. Stay composed. Your silence during the storm will speak louder than any argument or outburst ever could. Emotions are part of being human, but they were never meant to be your master. Anger, jealousy, and fear are signals. They are not steering wheels. And if you allow those emotions to take the lead, they will drive you straight into regret. So what is the solution? You train. You teach yourself to pause before you speak. You observe before you act. You develop the ability to delay your response until your logic, not your feelings, chooses the direction. You do not suppress your emotions. You refine them. You use them as tools, not shackles. You transform your pain into purpose. You take your frustration and shape it into strategy. And when someone tries to provoke you, when they try to break your calm, you look them in the eye and remind yourself of one unshakable truth. I control this moment. I decide how this ends. That right there is where true dominance lies. Let me share a secret with you. Real power is found in self-control. That is why so few people possess it. It requires far more strength to remain calm than to lash out. It demands more character to walk away than to start a battle you will later regret. Mastering your emotions does not mean allowing others to walk over you. It means having the wisdom to know which conflicts are worth your time and which are nothing but distractions. The truth is, most of what angers you is not worthy of your energy. Most of what disappoints you is simply a form of redirection. It is life or God showing you that something was never meant for you. But if you are too absorbed in your feelings, you will miss the message. And when you miss the message, you repeat the mistake. This is not just about avoiding conflict. It is about stepping into your purpose with clarity. Because when your emotions are out of control, your vision becomes clouded. You miss opportunities. You make poor decisions. You place your trust in the wrong people. You speak at the wrong time. You burn bridges that you may need later. But when your mind is clear and your spirit is grounded, you become untouchable. You move through storms as if they were ordinary days. People throw shade, and you continue to grow in it. They underestimate you, and you let their ignorance serve as your camouflage. Because true emotional discipline is how you make powerful moves in silence. Understand this: if someone can provoke you at will, they can control you. If they know how to push your buttons, they can lead you off course. If they know how to stir your insecurity, they can influence your decisions. And if they can influence your decisions, then you are no longer living by your own design. You are dancing to someone else's rhythm. That is not power. That is dependence. That is emotional slavery. So ask yourself honestly, who is in control here? Is it you or your pain, your fear, your pride? You need to take the wheel of your own emotional state. Because if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. If you cannot stay grounded, you cannot protect what matters. You cannot win at life if every passing emotion can pull you off center. I'm not saying this as someone who has never failed. I am saying it because I have learned the hard way. You will feel the urge to react. You will want to defend yourself, to shout, to prove your worth. But the higher you rise, the more pressure will test you. The more distractions will try to lure you in. That is why you must train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. You must learn to sit in discomfort without letting it defeat you. You must release your need to be understood, to be praised, to be validated. Sometimes you will have to walk away in silence, even when your pride is screaming to speak. Sometimes you will have to rise above when every part of you wants to tear it all down. That is the path of a warrior. And make no mistake, you are built for the battlefield. But the real battlefield is your own mind. If you want to outthink others, begin by outthinking yourself. Outsmart your anger. Outsmart your ego. Outsmart that voice inside you that craves revenge when you should be seeking victory. Your legacy will not be defined by how loudly you roared, but by how well you governed yourself. So control your emotions and never allow them to control you. This is not only the first rule of total dominance. It is the foundation on which every other rule must be built. Get this part right, and the world will never be able to play you again. Now let us move to rule number 2. Learn everything, speak little. Most people do not realize this until it is too late. Power is not gained through talking. It is earned through knowing. There is something sacred in silence, something heavy, something commanding. In a world where everyone is trying to impress, to be seen, to be heard, the one who says the least often carries the most weight. The world respects wisdom, and wisdom does not raise its voice. It speaks with calm authority. When you walk into a space and choose your words carefully, people notice, they lean in, they pay attention. Because when you speak with intention, every word holds more value. But before you speak, make sure you know what you are talking about. You must learn constantly, study everything, watch patterns, read people, understand the game, and then choose your words sparingly. Because the one who understands the most and speaks the least is the one who always has the upper hand. Every time you speak without purpose, you give something away. Your thoughts, your insecurities, your strategy, your vulnerabilities. People will analyze your words, twist them, and use them to their advantage. But when you master the discipline of silence, when you speak only when your words are sharp and deliberate, you become untouchable. You confuse your enemies, you inspire respect in your allies, you protect your peace. This is not about being mysterious for the sake of it. It is about being intentional. It is about carrying power within your quiet presence. Because people cannot manipulate what they do not understand. They cannot block a move they cannot see coming. And they cannot control someone whose thoughts they cannot read. Learn to let your silence speak louder than their noise. Life is a constant classroom. And every person you meet, every room you walk into, every mistake you make is trying to teach you something. But if you are too busy speaking, too focused on being heard, you will miss the lessons quietly unfolding around you. The wisest people in any environment are usually the ones listening the most. They are not looking to impress you. They are analyzing you. They are paying attention to the way you speak, the words you choose, the energy you bring. They are observing patterns, noting the inconsistencies, finding the gaps in your logic. And when they choose to speak, they make every word count. Their words are intentional, calculated, and powerful. That is exactly what you should be aiming for. Stop chasing attention. Start cultivating awareness. Learn to absorb knowledge like a sponge. Be the person who sits in the corner paying attention, processing everything until the right moment presents itself. And when it does, you move with clarity and precision, leaving an impact that cannot be ignored. If your goal is to outsmart others, then you must know more than they think you do and speak less than they expect. That is the secret to moving with purpose and striking with strength. Let people misjudge your silence. Let them believe you are quiet because you have nothing to offer. Let them get comfortable. That is when your power begins to grow. In a world obsessed with constant noise, silence is one of the greatest forms of power. But it is not just any silence. It must be a silence rooted in depth. You have to be constantly learning. Read the books they are not reading. Ask the questions they are not thinking to ask. Observe the things they ignore. Study everything. Understand people, systems, psychology, economics, conflict, peace, success, and failure. Knowledge is your armor. It is your weapon. It is your compass. And as your knowledge grows, your need to speak begins to fade. True confidence is not found in volume, but in clarity. Think about it. The most powerful moves are the ones no one sees coming. That is because the people making them are not announcing them. They are studying, they are planning, they are moving quietly behind the scenes, while others are busy bragging about goals they will never reach. Do not be the person who broadcasts their ambitions. Be the one who reveals only results. Do not explain your mindset. Embody it. The ones who constantly need to talk are the ones seeking validation. The ones who truly know their worth are content in their silence. When you commit to learning deeply and speaking with intention, you preserve your energy for what truly matters. You focus on strategy. You focus on discipline. You focus on execution. That is what separates you from the crowd. Every word you speak comes with a cost. It takes your time, your focus, and sometimes your leverage. The more others know about your thoughts, your plans, your beliefs, the more they can use them against you. The less you say, the less they can figure out. You must protect your inner world the same way you protect your personal space. You would not leave the front door of your home open for anyone to walk in. So why do you leave your thoughts, your dreams, your goals unguarded for the world to pick apart? Learn to protect your mental space. Speak only when your words serve a purpose. Speak only when your message is grounded in calmness, clarity, and strength. That is how real leaders communicate. That is how kings and queens carry themselves. Most people believe that talking is power, but words only carry power when they are backed by substance. Without that, it is all just noise, and noise fades quickly. If you want to dominate in life, learn everything you can and speak only when necessary. Be so informed that your silence creates tension. Be so intentional that your few words cut deeper than pages of empty talk. Be so mentally sharp that people seek your presence for guidance, not gossip. And above all, never let the chaos of the world pressure you into revealing what should remain private. Patience is part of strategy. Silence is part of power. Every moment you choose to listen instead of speak is a moment you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared. While they are talking, you are transforming. So when you enter a space, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows far more than they reveal. Do not rush to prove anything. Do not beg to be understood. The world may not recognize your value at first, and that is perfectly fine, because when you do speak, your words will carry weight. When you finally act, your presence will leave a mark. Keep studying. Keep sharpening your mind. Speak less. Listen more. Because, in the end, the one who listens the longest becomes the one who leads. The quiet student becomes the master. The silent figure becomes the storm. And the one who learns everything while speaking little is the one no one sees coming until it is far too late. Number 3 is this. Move with precision, not with permission. There comes a point in your life when you understand that waiting for someone to validate you is the very thing keeping you from moving forward. You keep hoping someone will notice your value, open a door for you, or give you a chance. But the reality is no one is coming to grant you permission to rise. You have to claim it yourself. You have to step as if what you're after already belongs to you. You have to carry yourself like the opportunity is already sealed and secured in your name. Power does not belong to the hesitant. It does not belong to the person constantly searching for a sign of approval. It belongs to the one who studies the landscape, sharpens their tools, and moves with intention. Precision over permission. This is the mindset of those who rise to the top. You do not ask the world if it's acceptable for you to be great. You show the world what greatness looks like. You were not born to wait quietly at the back of the line until someone tells you to step forward. When you operate with precision, you stop chasing and begin choosing. You move with intention, not anxiety. You do not wait for someone to say go, because in your mind the race already belongs to you. Think about how many people never begin because they are still waiting for someone else to confirm they are ready. The ones who win do not wait. They prepare in silence, they study, they build in the shadows, and when their time comes, they are not seeking entrance. They are claiming their space. The world naturally moves aside for the one who knows exactly where they are headed. You must treat your life like a mission, and missions are not debated or second-guessed. When a pilot prepares for takeoff, they do not ask the passengers for permission to fly. They follow a detailed flight plan, commit to the destination, and lift off with confidence. That is how you must move through your own journey. It is time to set aside hesitation. Let go of doubt. Let go of waiting for someone else to affirm your readiness. Begin to walk like the ground already belongs to you. Speak like your voice carries weight. Decide like your vision is meant to live. Because every time you wait for permission, you surrender control. And once control is handed over, it is difficult to reclaim. But when you move with precision, you stay in command. You lead instead of follow. You direct instead of ask. Make no mistake. Precision is not about rushing or acting recklessly. It is about clear thinking, confident action, and excellent execution. When you move with precision, the preparation is already complete before anyone even sees you. You have trained, you have studied, you have failed and grown stronger. So when you step forward, you do not need a round of applause. You have alignment. You are not showing up to impress. You are showing up because you have earned your moment. That kind of power does not demand attention. It naturally commands it. Your silence becomes a source of strength. Your steps speak for you. Your vision becomes impossible to ignore. You do not wait for doors to open. You build your own and walk through without hesitation. The difference between those who dream and those who dominate is this. Dominators do not wait for the perfect moment. They do not wait for encouragement or permission. They make a decision. They act, they learn, they adjust, they stumble forward. They are not looking for comfort. They are looking for clarity. And clarity only comes through movement. You do not discover who you are by thinking endlessly. You discover it by doing. When you move with precision, you turn your mistakes into lessons and your lessons into progress. You do not pause, you do not hand your momentum to someone else. The path might be hard, but it will be yours. And that is where freedom begins. Not in perfection, but in deliberate, focused movement. Sometimes the loudest chains are not around your wrists or ankles. They are in your mind. That voice that whispers you are not ready, that questions your right to dream, that asks who you think you are. That voice is a liar. And if you listen to it, it will keep you small. That is why precision matters. When you are locked in on your mission, there is no room for doubt. When you are focused on your next step, fear cannot find a way in. You cannot be held hostage by rejection. When you are no longer asking for approval, you cannot be shaken by criticism when your purpose is greater than their opinion. People may not understand your path, and that is fine. They were not given your vision, you were. So protect it, walk in it, own it. Greatness does not announce itself. It reveals itself through consistent action, through sharp decisions, through disciplined progress. Every single day that you move forward without waiting for applause is a day that strengthens your foundation. You become clearer, stronger, and more grounded. Move not because it is popular. Move because it is aligned with your truth. Speak not for attention. Speak because your words carry weight. Act not to impress but to create lasting impact. When you learn to move with precision, you stop reacting and start building. You stop chasing things and begin shaping your future. And slowly the world begins to catch up to the strength you have always carried within. From this moment forward, stop waiting. Decide who you are. Decide what you want. Then move forward even when others doubt you. Move forward even if they mock you. Move even when no one is watching, because eventually they will. One day, they will look back and realize you never asked for a single thing. And that is what true power looks like. You do not demand attention. You earn respect through presence. You do not wait for someone to tell you it is your turn. You take your place with grace, with strength, and with clarity. Because when you truly know your worth, you stop moving with hesitation, And when you move like that with confidence and intention, you do not just change your life, you change everything around you. Now, here is number 4. Turn every setback into strategy. Life is going to hit you. That is not a possibility. It is a certainty. There will be moments when it feels like the air has been knocked out of your chest. Moments when everything you have built crumbles in front of you. You will lose things and people you thought you could never live without. You will lose time.